Hey guys, I'm here today with a short market watch. There was a few cards that have been going up a crazy amount, so I wanted to go over those today um, instead of waiting till later this week to go over it, which was my plan. So I'll try to keep it short. Um, but other than that, we can get into it. So super polymerization, ultimate rare coming out of OTS tournament pack 14 is bought out. I just recently talked about this like not even a week ago, where it was like $90 to $100, maybe 110 at the most. And I said, pick these up because they're going to go up with Albaz coming out. Well, we're about 3 weeks out from the structure deck being released. And this, it got bought out today, I think, actually. Maybe it started, let's see, look at the purchase data. So no, it looks like it's been going on a little bit. I guess the last 2 days I would say is when it started getting bought up. I actually sold my 2 copies today for 140 each, which I am kind of sad that they sold for so low considering how high it went, but I'm not greedy. I paid a lot less than that, like I think like $85 a piece or something for them. So I'm pretty happy with that price point. But if you guys listen to me and you went ahead and picked up a copy or 3 copies, congratulations, you made quite a bit of money. If you picked up a playset, then you literally made a car payment. So would I pick them up now? Probably not at this price, because I think it will probably settle between 175 and maybe 250, but that just depends on how good the deck ends up being, and how many copies of Super Poly are being played in the deck. I don't know that you would play 3 copies of Super Poly, and I could be wrong, but I think if you're playing at least 1 or 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz, it doesn't really make sense to play like basically like 5 or 6 copies of Super Poly, because Fallen of Albaz is already searchable. But and you have to discard 1 card to use this effect as well. So there's not real, the only advantage of Super Poly over, say, Albaz would be that you can't respond to this card's activation, which you can, I think, with Fallen of Albaz. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. So yeah, if you were picking these up just to sell them, you can go ahead and list them up. I think that's fine to sell these for around the 180 to 200 mark. If you picked them up for 100. But if you wanted to play the deck, I mean, you still saved a lot of money by buying this earlier. Next is Guardian Chimera. I talked about this, I think, same time as I did Super Poly, maybe earlier, but it was like $17 at the time. And now it's around 35. I was able to get a copy for 17. So probably whenever it comes in the mail, because I bought it like maybe 2 or 3 days ago. So whenever it comes in the mail, I'll probably hold it for a little while to see if it goes to 40, but I would even be happy selling it for 35, because I have no plans of playing Fallen of Albaz or the Albaz deck, which I think is going to probably be like Albaz Despia. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really planning on playing the deck, so I'll just take the money for the card. But I think probably 40 would maybe be the top price, but it could go crazier. It just depends, because this will be probably played at 2 copies, I imagine. And there's not any value in Battle of Chaos, so I don't think a lot of people have opened this. So there's just not a lot of these on the market. Next is Branded in Red, coming out of Burst of Destiny, super rare. This is the card that lets you fusion summon on your opponent's turn, I believe. Let's see. I think that this lets you, yeah, it's quick play. So yeah, you can fusion summon on your opponent's turn. So that kind of really helps you play the Guardian Chimera. In this card, as you can see on the price chart, has gone from about 60 cents the last 3 or 4 days up to past $1. You can still get some light plays for 75 cents. So if you want them, that's a good opportunity to go ahead and grab them. And then it goes up to around $1.50 to $1.70. But this could easily be a $5 super rare. I'm not sure how many copies you would play, but I imagine 2 or 3, maybe not 3, probably more like 2. I don't know if this is like the card that you'd want to open or search. I think probably search, so maybe 1 or 2 copies. But yeah, that's all I really have on that card. I don't know too much about this deck and kind of what ratios you would play. I just kind of know which cards are going to be played. Next is Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. We were seeing this card steadily kind of in between $80 and $90 for a long time, maybe even down to 75. But it recently kind of got bought up to a higher price point. There is this one seller that has lightly played first editions for 85 and has 4 copies. So if you don't have yours yet and you need one, that's not too bad. But after that, for the next verified, I think it's in the hundreds. It's around around $100 for the next verified seller. So that's like a $15 discount for a light play. So if you don't have yours, definitely still get it. That's still a good price because I think that's actually cheaper than the $88 price point it was kind of at. I'm less nervous about getting light plays for newer sets like this, just because it hasn't had a whole lot of time to be out and get any kind of wear. So it might have like light scratching or something, but it's probably going to be pretty close to near mint. Next is Incredible Ecclesia. I know we've talked about this a lot, but with all the other Albaz cards going up, it's only a matter of time before this does as well. And this was kind of up to like around, I would say like $55 last week when I looked. And it's kind of floated back down to the 50 to 51 mark for the most part. So it's still at a good price point to get it. I think $45 to $50 is really where you'd want to try to get this card at. Surprisingly, people haven't turned their attention to this yet, but I think it's only a matter of time before people do. And the cool thing about this card is it's not just being played in Albaz, whereas like Super Poly and some of those other cards like branded are. This is played in multiple decks. So you've got Sword Soul Tenyi, and then you also have like I think just the regular Tenyi play it that has like the smaller synchro engine in it. And then there's probably others that I'm not thinking of right now, but those decks that I named off are really powerful decks right now. So this is a really strong card in the meta currently. So I think that the price probably will not float below 50 until we get a reprint, which will definitely not happen until the Megatons. Unless they just throw us a curveball, but you just rarely see that happen. And then finally is Hidden Arsenal. Some of these have started kind of floating up and some are kind of stagnating or going down. From what I can tell, a lot of the common dual terminals are what's like really skyrocketing in price just because the limited availability. The prices of cases are extremely cheap. I think it's like $25 below MSRP, which is crazy. It's almost to the point, like if it went down to like 65, I would almost want to pick up a case and just sit on it for a long time. Because I do think there will be value in the set, like really far down the road, but I'm talking like 2 or 3 years at least. So it's like something that you could sit on for quite a while, but I would only do that if it was extremely cheap, whereas 75 is just, it's cheap, but just not cheap enough for me yet. But looking through, skill drain starting to move up in price. It was kind of around the 19 to 21 range. So yeah, I guess there are some 21s, and then it kind of goes up towards 22. I think over the weekend this had spiked up higher to like the $24 range. I could be wrong, but definitely keep your eye on this because it's the only like a really available reprint of Soul Drain or Skill Drain, sorry, that people have access to. So I think as long as it's seeing play, it's just going to continue to go up in price slowly but steadily. Going back and looking at some of the other cards, I also noticed, I know we already talked about this, had been up to like $13 or $14. But if you're going to get this card, go get the original rare dual terminal. I don't think that one's that expensive. We'll look at it after we kind of go through this set, but I really don't think it's much more than like 15 bucks. So if you really wanted a version, that would be the version to get. Stratos is insane. It's $15 as well. I don't think that's a good investment. I think there's just better versions of Stratos, like the jump promos are really good. Of course, the Ultimate Rare, Starlight Rare are good. I just don't see this as like a very good version. If it was an ultra rare, then I would say yes. But also, if it was ultra rare, it would be probably only like $5 or $6 because the ultra rares are a lot easier to pull than the common dual terminals. Moving on, polymerization, also kind of that $4 to $5 range. It really hasn't gone down. It's maybe inched a little bit higher than what it was, but it's holding its price. I still think that's a good version of polymerization to have, because the original dual terminal one, I think, is just a common or a rare. I can't remember, which I would still rather have that version, but this one looks nice. In my opinion, if you're going to play polymerization, which I know there's probably barely anything that does, this would be the version that I would probably play, or the secret rare. I have the secret rares as well. Allied Justice Cycle Reader, I would really advise you to stay away from this card because there's nothing that this card's really good against right now. No one's playing Drytron really, even though Drytron's still a decent deck. This is just not as powerful right now, so I don't think it's worth the $8 price point. If you want to pick up the commons in this set, if you just need a play set to have around, I would be okay with doing that, but I really wouldn't advise getting this version. Going on, of course, like I'm not going to spend much time talking about these, but the Blue Eyes, the Dark Magician, all of those are decent pickups long term. But it's going to be probably a long time before those see any kind of price spikes. Lava Golem kind of went down a little bit, but I still think that that's one of the best cards in the set. Of course, these two right here, definitely worth the money, especially since I think Power Tool is getting support soon. Probably won't be great, but if Infernobles ever come back, it's definitely going to be a card that you need to play. And then Formula Synchron, I mean, it's just a draw one. It's very good. Next, Dark Paladin, also like an insane pickup at $2. I would highly advise that, along with Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. There's just not too many good looking versions of this card. I think it did get reprinted as a secret rare in the new GX box set. So I'm not sure which version I like better, but probably the secret rare. But I also think the secret rare will probably be quite a bit more than this version. But that's kind of, I guess, if they had made the dual terminal, I guess, a little bit stronger like the old versions, I would definitely say this one, but it's like not the best foiling in my opinion. Cyber Dragons, of course, really good pickup. Night Assailant's really good for older formats. Waboku at $2, I'd just say no. I'm trying to think, there was, oh yeah, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is going up. If you don't have these yet, I would pick them up because it's, I think, only one of two reprints that have the updated card text. So that is pretty useful for modern formats to have that, so that I kind of hate playing cards before, like pre-errata text, not because they don't look good, but just because it's kind of annoying to keep track of what the change was. So if you don't have, like, I think the only other printing is as a common out of, I think it was one of the legendary duelist seasons, but this is definitely a better version to get. Let's see if there's anything else in this set. This set's just not very good, but there are cards that are decent to pick up, like Book of Moon. I kind of do wonder what the Dust Tornado originals, the original common dual terminals, are going for, because I have a playset of those, and I play two in my Go deck, and at one point those were $25, but there was really not an alternative version that I liked to pick up that I could play instead of it. I think there is an ultra rare, but I don't know, the dual terminal version looks so good for this card. So I think I sold my additional copy and then just kept the two for my deck. But if you want this for your Go deck or whatever, and you like the original dual terminal, this probably looks okay. I would just check first in on the original to see if that price has gone down, because if that one's, the original's like $5 or $6, I would rather get that for sure. These I don't really care about, because I mean, this is like an old format card that you would play. It's never, I don't think it really ever be useful in modern Yu-Gi-Oh. But if you're playing, I guess, in an older format and you need the card, I guess it's not the worst version to get, because I think the original is pretty expensive. Deep Sea Repetitoire is, I think it probably also a card to keep your eye on. I think it'll go cheaper though, to be honest. Like maybe towards like 80-90 cents. I could be wrong, but I think with water sport around the corner, it's just something you need to keep your eye on. I think we should also kind of wait to see what gets announced and just be ready to pick up whatever cards could go along with it. So yeah, I would keep your eye on that card, but don't go in and buy 10 copies. I don't think it's worth doing that. If you want to buy a copy or two, that's fine. I'm personally just going to wait, because currently I have a water deck that it's Sarctic and what is it? Atlantean. And no, the Atlantean engine is really small. So it's mainly your Sarctic. And I can't think of the other, I think it's Deep Sea, that's what it is. And that's mainly a synchro deck. Definitely just a casual deck. But you can't even really use this card in that deck. So I can't imagine really other decks playing it. So I guess it would depend on the support that we get and if this card would be usable or not. Book of Moon, always good to have. Trishula, I actually have this with me. Let's see if I can turn the lights up a little bit, get a better angle. It's really kind of hard to get these like on frame where you can see the foiling. I can't really tell how good of a picture that was, but it looks pretty good. Definitely only like 10% as good as the original, but that's kind of what I expected when I ordered it. But for $1, like, you can't really beat that. Red Eye is extremely good for under $1, or it's probably really more towards like $1.50. Same with MST. And just really a lot of these cards. I don't think this is actually really the worst set. It's just you're not going to make your money if you open it. And you can invest in these cards as singles, but just know that you're going to have to hold on to most of them for a very long time to see any kind of value out of them. So I am kind of playing the long game, but just because they're so cheap, like holding 5, say, dual terminal Mystical Space Typhoons for like $5, to me, there's low risk to that. And MSTs kind of always have value because it's a card that will always see play in one form or another. Other than that, that's kind of really all I have to say for this set. Let's just check out some of the dual terminal printings of these cards. Unfortunately, that's annoying. I'm going to have to search it manually because they put that text there, you can't select alternate versions. So here's the original. And you can get a light play for $360. And what are near mints going for? Okay, so they kind of jump up a little bit. So you can get a play set here from Super Games. I really recommend them as a seller. And their late plays always come in pretty good condition. But that is $7-8 to me is kind of getting a little too expensive. Yeah, near mints at 10 is just still a little expensive for this card for what it is. If you just want to pick up like one of these cheaper ones, that's not too bad. Or this one right here, you got a play set for $340 and they have really good feedback. I would say go for that, but I wouldn't spend more than like $5.50 per copy on this. Just because it's just not going to get a lot of attention, really. Let's see if there's actually other versions. I think I remember there only being like, okay, so you do have a super rare out of Pharaoh Servant. I actually didn't even remember that had that. So you actually have a couple of holo versions. I thought for whatever reason that it only had the ultra rare, which is like $3 to $4. And I've seen this in person. The ultra rare, in my opinion, doesn't look like that good. I bet the original super rare though looks pretty good. I guess if I wasn't going to get the dual terminal original or original, I would probably get the super rare instead of the dual terminal reprint. We'll look at like what the first editions are going on for this card. I would imagine like $8 to $10. Light plate, near mint. Okay, quite a bit more than that. So it's $15 and then $25 for near mint. That's too expensive. All right, so we'll just unclick and see what the at unlims being $2 to $3 is pretty expensive too. Yeah, I think I'd rather just get the dual terminal in that case because unlims are just not really going to go up in price, I wouldn't think, or not substantially at least. It might go up $1 or so, but that would be a long time. And then you also have to think that this is not exactly what I would call a collector's card, especially if you don't get the first edition. But even if you do have the first edition, it's not going to be like a very prominent collector's card. And collectors, I'd say the collector market kind of waves in and out. Right now, collectors is kind of up for certain sets and certain cards, but it's not as far up as it was like during the beginning of the pandemic when things were like tripling to like almost 10xing, some of them like 10xing in price. I'm trying to think, what was the other one? Flame Wingman, it's kind of one of the other ones I wanted to check out. This card in ulti looks extremely nice. I think it comes in ultimate. Yeah, it does. So as a secret rare, I'm actually curious what the ultimate rare is going for. I think a lot of the hero cards just recently got bought out because I actually went to go get a Air Neos ultra rare first edition, and those were going for like light play like $80, and now they're like almost 200, I think. So this is actually going for 90 for a light play first edition. That's really, really good, especially since it like almost doubles here. I might actually consider getting that. That's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Okay, let's see. Okay, so for the common dual terminal, it's like, it says market price of 20, but you can get a light play for $9 and a near mint for 15. I would still just rather have the original than have the reprint ultra rare, but the reprint ultra rare is like $1 and like 50 cents. So I think I probably would rather have 10 copies of that than one copy of this. But that's a hard decision. Let's see. Those actually look pretty nice too. Oh my God, I didn't realize that the Mattel action figure promos, these are up quite a bit. I know I have at least one Mattel promo, but it's not Flame Wingman, it's Water Dragon. Let's see, pretty much all versions of this card are worth something though, except for this common. So I guess so if it's a common in this set, maybe it's not getting a secret rare. Oh, you know what? It's because it wouldn't show up under here because it would say secret rare next to it. So I think it still is a secret rare. I wonder why the Elemental Hero Collection is so much more expensive market price wise than the Ultimate Rare. If you know, let me know down below. But I think the Ultimate Rare looks insane. Okay, moving on. What was the other one? Shining Flare Wingman, yeah. Ultra rares around 100. So here's the original. I was thinking this had an ultimate rare, but I guess not. Let's see. So this is going for around $10. So like I said, I mean, the reprint is going for $7, and this is actually higher rarity because it's a rare. And of course, it's the original dual terminal. So definitely don't get the reprint. Like, that would be so stupid. I just don't think maybe people know about the original. That would be my guess. Elemental Energy. We'll look at that one. That's the original print. I think, though, all things considered, most of the Shining Flare Wingmans are pretty cheap. So if you don't have a version, like, I think there's not really a bad version to get other than the new common dual terminal. Definitely don't get that one. But you can get a lightly played for $17 for an original print. Near mint 35. 35 to me, probably not worth it. I would rather have 2 of these than 1 near mint, in my opinion. I guess it also depends on what the seller classifies as lightly played, because to me, lightly played is just like minor scuffing or just maybe a little whitening on one edge, but not multiple whitening spots. Oh, it's because I need to clear my filters. I actually wanted to look at this version too. These are going for around $7 to $8 for a lightly played first edition. This one actually looks really, really good. This would probably be one of my favorite versions because the secret rare foiling out of legendary collections to me are like the best. That's why I like Solemn Judgment. Secret rare is my favorite out of legendary collection. Or no, I guess that one's out of Yugi's World, but they're kind of similar foiling. But that's one of my favorite versions of Solemn Judgment. I'm trying to think what else came out of this. We should probably cover this one soon because I think there's kind of quite a bit of value there now. Okay, let's go back. Oh wait, I completely didn't do what I was setting out to do. Need to clear the filter. So let's take let's just do clear. Because for whatever reason it's not showing up. Okay. So I think other than that, like, let's see what this version looks like. Honestly, already off the bat, don't like the foiling as much on this one. And I also, like, I don't know why, but I hate limited edition on the card. I just think it makes it look so cheap. I guess it's because I've seen so many cards printed in recent years that say limited edition that just have 0 value. And to me, I just attach that that value to limited edition cards. To me, it makes it seem like they're just not worth anything, or like a cheaper version. So let's do filters, light play near mint. It's around $3.60. I'd say $4 with shipping, kind of $4 to $5, and then near mint is around $7. That's not a bad version to get. I think technically this would be like your higher rarity, but I think if you were going for like your personal collection, I think I would much rather have the legendary collection or the original dual terminal, or of course the original ultra rare. Just because I think if you've got 2 secret rares, this one just doesn't look nearly as good as the other one, in my opinion. Other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And let me know what you think about some of the recent buyouts. And let me know if you ended up getting a copy or 2 of Super Polymerization Ultimate Rare. But other than that, I will be back with another video probably Friday or maybe this weekend. But thanks for watching.